Did the Orlando Magic secretly win the Desmond Bane trade? Now, I know they gave up a ton of future draft capital, but they're bringing in a guy in Desmond Bane that just averaged 19 points and 6 rebounds, also averaging 5 assists per game. He did this on fantastic efficiency, shooting 48% from the field and 39% from 3. And he's locked up for the next 4 years. You add this to your young core of Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, and you add him to a team that has been the worst three-point shooting team in the NBA the last 2 years. This screams win to me. The Magic last year ranked 30th in three-pointers made and three-point percentage, while ranking 23rd in three-pointers attempted. And the year before that, they finished 30th in three-pointers made once again, despite the fact that they won 47 games. If this team could surround Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, who are walking paint touches, and get to the rim like no other young duo in the NBA, this team could be really, really good next year. People forget this was the 5 seed 2 years ago, and we saw Paolo in his first Game 7 absolutely go off. He's got superstar written all over him, and now they're finally taking the necessary steps to build this team up. The GM said they were going to be really aggressive this offseason, and so far, they've lived up to it. And really, the only 2 picks they're giving away are this year's lottery pick, which it kind of stinks to give up a fringe lottery pick in this year's draft because of how good this class is, and then they're giving up that 2026 Phoenix Suns pick, which that one could kind of be bad. Yes, the Suns still have the book for now. We don't know what they're going to do this offseason, but that one kind of stinks. Other than that, the 3 future firsts, they're not worried about it because Paolo, still extremely young, being just 23 years old. Franz and Jalen Suggs will be just 24, and then Desmond Bane will be 27. So this team together through 2030, which was the latest pick that they gave up, should be competing for championships. And if you're a Magic fan, you should be extremely excited for what Desmond Bane, 3X, does for Paolo Banchero. Because Paolo last year averaged 26 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 4.8 assists, and did that with the worst court spacing in the NBA. For the last 2 years, he's had the worst court spacing in the NBA and is still developing into a megastar. 45% shooting from the field, 32% from 3. But for Paolo, you've got to get shooters around him so he can operate in the paint. Take a look at what he did in his breakout game versus Indiana, where he had 50 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists. And this is what's starting to make Paolo scary. He's developing a mid-range. He's 6'10", 250, and his go-to move when he needs a bucket is to simply move you out of the way, like he does right here against Isaiah Jackson, and then tries to rip the rim down. But the evolution of his game, the scary part of this is now Pascal is thinking that same thing. He's going to get the shoulder bump from hell, and he's going to get knocked off his tracks. Instead, Paolo stops on a dime and knocks it down, and Pascal is in no position to contest. Then he hits you with a little finesse, the little Euro step, tiptoeing down the paint, and then Miles Turner, may I have this dance. Him doing that in the mid-range is scary, extremely scary. Now, Pascal gets that shoulder bump that we talked about earlier, and Paolo gets the and one. Then he posts up Obi Toppin. Remember, this is the Pacers team that is right now battling for an NBA championship, and Paolo is out here giving them the business in every single way possible. And then just a face up here against Obi, little jab. Obi doesn't bite, so he knocks it down. And keep in mind, this is the first quarter that all of this has happened in. A ridiculous first quarter from Paolo. He had 37 in the first half this game, and then he decides to get into his bag once again. When you're guarding Paolo, you're expecting him to get downhill in a hurry, and when he pulls up, there's simply nothing you can do to guard it. You just got to hope he misses. Like right here, they're protecting the rim, and you just got to hope he misses and you can get the rebound and go the other way. His vision is also improving. Like we said, he's up to almost 5 assists per game this year, and for a guy that attracts so much attention, that is something you really need to have, is the ability to find open teammates, because he has so much gravity around him, especially getting downhill. We talked about it earlier. He's already played in a Game 7 in his career, which helps him, continue to level up, and once the playoffs come around, and in that Game 7, he didn't just play, he dominated. He had 38 points and 16 rebounds, once again, with the worst spaced team in the NBA for the last 2 seasons. Now, he definitely emptied the clip. He wasn't the most efficient, was only 10 of 28 from the field and 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. But could you imagine Desmond Bane out there with Jalen Suggs spacing the floor for Paolo in the backcourt, and then, Wendell Carter at the 5? That's going to be something very, very nice. First, the Celtics this year in the playoffs, he put up almost 30 points and 8.5 rebounds. And once again, with the worst spacing in the league, 44% from 3 over the course of a playoff series is very nice. However, the Magic as a team were 41 for 156 from beyond the arc over this 5-game series. Paolo was the only player to make more than 7 threes in that entire series. Ridiculous! And Desmond Bane is going to help fix this. We've nicknamed him 3-Rex because he's going to be wearing number 3 for the Magic. And of course, his nickname was already T-Rex because of how short his arms are. But he's averaging 19.2 points per game, 6.3 rebounds, and 5.2 assists last year in 69 games played. Shot 48% from the field and 39% from 3 on 6 attempts. He's a part of the solution. He's not the full solution, but he's a part of this solution in Orlando. I mean, imagine a guy doing this, pulling up in transition when you're worried about Paolo and Franz going right by you. And remember, 2 years ago, this was his stat line. He averaged almost 24 points a game on 38% shooting from deep on 9 attempts a game. He's a guy that can get really hot, and when he gets really hot, it's a dangerous spot to be in. And for the Magic, like we said, I wouldn't worry about giving up all those picks. This is his 3-point percentage as a pro, so starting out really good, and then the last couple of years kind of a fall off, but he's had tougher attempts. And what this trade really tells me, and the return for the Grizzlies, is that they really didn't want to give up Desmond Bane, right? But they got all these picks. I mean, they got 4 future first-round picks and a pick swap, so I mean, that's a price you kind of can't turn down. But they didn't really want to give up Desmond Bane unless, you know, the Magic give him an offer they can't refuse. The backcourt of Bane and Suggs is going to be a lot of fun because Suggs, he's kind of turned into a 3-point shooter. I say kind of because one year he was really good, and then last year, not so much. It was pretty bad. But he is turned into a tough shot maker from beyond the arc. I mean, these are all tough shots that he's hitting right here. Last year, before he went down with an injury, he averaged 16.2 points a game, 4 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 1.5 steals, and a block per game. And on top of that, he is an all-world defender. Shot 41% from the field and 31% from 3 last year on 7 attempts. Not great. But the year before that, he shot 40% from 3 on 6 attempts. So I don't get it why the 3-point percentage was down so low. And again, it's a smaller sample size. Maybe he didn't get a chance to really heat up due to the injury. But man, if he can be a 3-point threat along with Bane in the backcourt, that opens so much up for guys like Franz and Paolo. And Franz really is one of the most underrated players in the league. Averaged 24.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, 4.7 assists, and 1 steal per game while shooting 46% from the field. Not bad whatsoever for a guy that is fantastic at getting to the rim and penetrating. And also, him and Paolo aren't that much different. Paulo's actually a better 3-point shooter, and Franz takes just 0.4 2-point attempts less than Paolo. He takes 13.5 2-point attempts per game. That's his bread and butter, is getting to the rim. The 3-point shot, not as much, but he does take about 5 of them per game still. And this could be a lethal starting lineup. We talked about it with Suggs and Franz only being 25, Paolo being 24, Bane being 27, and then Wendell Carter Jr., who we haven't even talked about, is a very serviceable center and a guy, he was maybe their best 3-point shooter last year. Or 2 years ago, I should say. Last year was a travesty from 3 for Wendell, but the year before that, he shot 38%, and the Magic, they need to continue to make moves to open the floor up for Paolo, to open the floor up for Franz, but this is a sneaky good move. I know you had to give up a lot of capital, but I really like this move. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button. Leave me a comment down below and hit the subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. We're looking for 300 likes on today's video. And with that being said, thanks so much for watching.